Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with the third and last video of the Croatia Grand Chess Tour, the classical event that was played in Zagreb, Croatia in June and July 2019. These are the 7 events from the Grand Chess Tour. It all started with Rapid and Blitz in the Ivory Coast. The Zagreb event has just finished and very soon there will be Paris Rapid and Blitz, followed by St. Louis Rapid and Blitz and the Sinquefield Cup in August. That's the second classical event. Then we have Rapid and Blitz in Bucharest, Romania and in Kolkata in India. The final of the 2019 Grand Chess Tour will be held in London in December. And the first 2 events have been won by the world champion, by Magnus Carlsen. He won the Zagreb event a full point ahead of Wesley So and gained 20 Grand Chess Tour points and $90,000 in prize money. So was second, Aronyan and Karana shared third place. Nepomniachtchi was a runaway leader in the first 3 rounds with 3 wins, but he only could manage finishing in joint 5th place together with Anish Giri and Ding Liren. Karyakin was 8th on his own. Tied 9th were Vasily Graf, Anand and Mamed, and Hikaru Nakamura will not think back fondly of the 2019 Grand Chess Tour Croatia event. He finished last. So Carlsen won again, and this is from the Instagram account from FIDE Chess. Is he officially the greatest of all time? Magnus Carlsen wins Croatia Grand Chess Tour with +5. Yes, 8 points out of 11 games. And gets back to his record 2882 rating. It is the world champion's 8th consecutive tournament victory. And indeed it is. Here are the 8 events that he won in a row. It started in December of 2018 with the World Blitz Championships. Then he won the Tata Steel event, Classical Chess, in January. Champier Chess, also classical, in April, and Grenke Chess in April. He won the first event of the Grand Chess Tour in the Ivory Coast. He won a smaller event in Scotland in May, Lindores Abbey Distillery, and he won Altibox Norway Chess, big event, classical games and Armageddon games. And now the 8th event in a row in Zagreb in Croatia. Quite incredible. Is he the greatest of all time? Maybe too early to say, but you can tell me what you think of that statement in the comments. I don't want to show games of Magnus Carlsen all the time, so in this video we'll look at a game from round 8, where Anish Giri played with the white pieces against Shahryar Mamedyarov. Let's have a look at that game. It's the 4th of July 2019, Giri is white, Mamedyarov is black. The time control is 2 hours and 10 minutes per player for the whole game with a 30-second delay. At the start of the game, both players were on -1 with 2.5 points out of 6 games. And Giri opened with the knight, c5 and e4, a very unusual way to get into a Sicilian. Giri may have gone for this as Mamedyarov's main weapon against e4 is the double king-pawn opening with e7, e5. Knight c6 was played by Mamedyarov and bishop b5 the Rossolimo. Here g6 is the main move, e6 is the second most popular move, and d6 is the third. d6 was played by Mamedyarov. Giri castled, bishop d7, c3, knight f6, let's put the opening moves on the board. Is attacking the e4 pawn, so rook e1 defending that pawn, a6 kicking the bishop, bishop all the way back, bishop g4, and d4, expanding in the center. That one was taken, c takes, and d5. Mamedyarov did not seem to be surprised at all having to play a Sicilian as he blitzed out these theoretical moves. Here Giri started to think if he wanted to play a close position with e5 or if he wanted to blast open the position by taking in the center. He decided on e takes d5. e5 is indeed the other alternative, which is quite aggressive. In some lines, white pushes the e-pawn to e6 to cripple this bishop on f8. Let's have a look at one variation which was shown by Grandmaster Ramirez in the live broadcast. Knight e4, then e6. If that pawn is taken, it's a pawn sacrifice. Then h3, bishop h5, and black cannot play g6 to let the bishop out to g7 because there will be g2, g4, and that would win a piece. Black will have a hard time developing his king's bishop. But e5 was not played, as mentioned. Giri took on d5. Knight takes, knight c3, e6, and now a very important moment. Giri asked the bishop a question with h3, and what Mamed really should have played here is take on f3, queen takes, and bishop e7. This is the way to play for black, and Giri said afterwards, this is solid. Don't think that you can win a pawn instead of playing bishop e7. Knight takes d4 is a big blunder. If you want to look for yourself why this is a big blunder, what can white do? How does white win a piece on the spot? Queen takes d5 is possible, because after queen takes, knight takes, the e-pawn is pinned. It cannot take back the knight, and white has won a piece. So all that after h3, and then bishop takes f3. But Mamed did not take on f3. He preserved the bishop pair and went to h5. And that's too provocative, according to Giri, as black is not developed yet. Giri said he was delighted to see this move, because he now played g4. Bishop went back to g6, and here queen b3 is possible with a double attack on d5 and on b7. On d5 still because of the pin. But it's not a real double attack, because bishop e7 can be played, and if you take on b7, then there is knight a5, not only attacking the queen, but trapping the queen. Black wins. The white queen has no squares. So that after bishop g6 and then queen b3, but Giri played knight takes d5. You have to take with the queen, and bishop g2, asking Mamed what is your next move? Knight e5, attacking the queen is a big threat. And the move you really want to make here with black, bishop e4, the natural move does not work because of this very nice shot. Rook takes, giving an exchange. Queen takes, and then knight e5, and this time it is black's queen that is trapped. Very nice, a queen trap in the middle of the board. You can look for yourself. The queen really does not have any safe squares. You cannot take on d4 because of the nice shot. Do you see it? Yes. Bishop takes c6 check is very nice. Removing the defender is check, so you have to take the bishop, and now your queen is unprotected. Very nice variation. So bishop e4, the natural move, does not work. What about rook d8 that was looked at in a live broadcast? Well, then again, white gets a great position with bishop g5, hitting that rook that was just played to d8. And bishop e7, again a natural move, does not work. We'll see in a minute why. f6 is really the only move, but not one you want to make, as it weakens the e6 square. So what's wrong with bishop e7? Well, again, there is knight e5. Hitting the queen, the bishop is attacking the queen. Now you can take on d4. The queen is protected also by the rook. So bishop takes c6 does not win the queen, but it still wins. B takes, queen takes, rook takes. It's very simple chess. You just take on e7, and if the king takes back, there is a lovely and juicy fork. White wins a rook. King f6, knight takes d4, and white is winning with his extra rook. So what to do after bishop g2? You cannot play bishop e4, you cannot play rook d8. Mamed, after a long think, decided on castling queenside. And Grandmaster Sarawan in a live broadcast said, "Oh my goodness, did he really castle?" Desperate times call for desperate measures, was his next comment. Giri played knight e5, hitting the queen. Queen takes d4. And now the very nice move, queen f3. Giri said afterwards that Mamed had probably missed this move. White is attacking the knight on c6 with 3 pieces now. And don't think you can take on e5, because this is checkmate. Mamed again thought for a long time and came up with rook d5. But now there is knight takes f7. And Grandmaster Ramirez said, "I probably can mate you, but why would I try to mate you if I can win material on the other side of the board?" It's attacking the rook. Rook g8 was played by Mamed and knight g5. Attacking the e6 pawn with 2 pieces. Bishop d6, you have to bring your pieces into the game if you want to save it. Knight takes e6. White is now a pawn up. Queen b4, attacking the rook on e1. Bishop e3, connecting the rooks. Rook e5, hitting the knight. And here rook a to c1 is the strongest move. Let's look at one variation. If you take the knight, then there is rook takes c6 check. And if you take that rook, then there is queen takes c6 check. It's not a forced checkmate, but totally winning for white. In many variations, the unprotected rook on g8 will fall off the board. The engine is here on +6. So rook ac1 is a very strong move. Giri did it differently. He played a3 instead, hitting the queen. Queen takes b2, and now he played rook ac1, and this is a very instructive way to play it. Instead of immediately rook ac1, the queen was on b4 and was hitting the rook on e1. Giri delays it for a move. He lures the queen to b2, where it is not attacking the unprotected rook on e1 once rook takes c6 happens, which makes it easier to calculate the variations. Very, very instructive. Giri knows he's winning and he's making it as easy as possible for himself. Mamed took on e6, took the knight, and rook takes c6 is a very nice shot. If you take it, there's queen takes c6 check, which is winning for white. In the game, Mamed went to d7 instead of taking the rook, and now rook d1, bringing everyone to the party. All pieces are now activated to attack black's king, which is in the middle of the board. But Giri played it differently. He took on a6, and he said afterwards that his coach was very angry about this move. But Giri said he just wanted to grab a pawn and convert an endgame. He did not want to sacrifice anything. He wanted to win something. Interesting to hear his approach. That suits his style best. If you take that rook, then there is queen c6 check again. King e7, bishop g5 check, king f7, queen d7 check, and you have to let the rook go, king f8, and queen takes e6, and mate in a few moves. It will be fun for you, dear viewer, to work out the mating variations by yourself. They're not very difficult. In the game, Mamed did not take the rook. He played rook b8, protecting the b7 pawn, and rook a7. Giri has chosen the safe technical win instead of more powerful but risky moves. He wants to win without having to calculate too much. And that's also quite instructive. And not easy. But Giri makes it look easy. Bishop e4. Mamed is still kicking and screaming. He does not want to give up. Queen f7 check. Rook interposes and the queen went to c4. Nice queen maneuver. Here queen c2 is the only move to keep the game going according to the engine, but Mamed played rook c8, activating the rook, hitting the queen. Logical move, but it doesn't work. Queen a4 check, bishop c6, and now Giri took on c6, rook takes, and the last move of the game, rook c1. Black resigned. The rook is nicely protected by the bishop, and this rook is pinned, and this b-pawn is pinned. Black is in dire straits, and there's really nothing to play for here. Let's look at a few variations. What about bishop c7 to at least unpin the pawn? But then there is rook takes c6, b takes c6, and bishop f4. And a double attack on that pinned bishop. White wins. Let's try something else. Let's try to move the king that is stuck there on that two-lane highway, trying to dodge the traffic, as Grandmaster Sarah called it. Let's try to run away. Then there is rook takes c6, b takes, queen takes, check, king f7, queen takes d6, and white is just a piece up. Rook takes, bishop takes, an extra piece for white. White is easily winning. Directly after the game, Giri was interviewed by Grandmaster Maurice Ashley, who said, "This looked like it was all over when it started." And Giri said that it was an opening disaster for black and that he should have been more cautious. He also gave us amateur players some advice. He said, don't try this at home. If you play a dubious line in the opening with black, you should really know your stuff. And in this case, Mamed did not know his stuff. He should have taken on f3 when he could, instead of the provocative move bishop h5. And Giri very convincingly showed why that provocative move was not good. A nice win for the Dutchman, who had started this tournament in a horrible way by losing with white in 23 moves to Magnus Carlsen. A picture of the handshake, and poor Shahryar Mamedyarov. 2019 is not his year. He has lost about 70 classical rating points since the start of the year. And never mind Giri, Mamed or Carlsen, this is the position after the second move in the game between myself and the chess to impress viewers. C4 was my second move, and you can still vote for your second move. Please put it in the comments of this video, and I will announce the second move of the viewers and my third move in Sunday's video, which is a new game from one of the Chess to Impress viewers. I will raffle the book The Mating Game by International Master Jovanka Huska and James Essinger amongst the viewers who have taken part in this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.